Picture this. You've been following the no contact rule, thinking it's the ultimate move to make her miss you. It seems like a straightforward approach, doesn't it? You create space, step back, and trust that she'll start feeling your absence. Eventually, you believe she'll come running back to you. The logic is simple: create distance, and she will chase after you. But here's the harsh reality: no contact is a passive move. It's a strategy of waiting, sitting back and hoping for her to come to you. But let's ask ourselves this: how often does sitting back, waiting, and hoping actually lead to results? Isn't it time to question whether this really works? What if I told you that simply waiting for her to miss you isn't enough? What if I told you there's a far more powerful way to make her crave your attention? The truth is, the real power doesn't lie in disappearing or cutting her off entirely. No contact may seem like a good way to make her miss you, but it's missing something far more crucial. It lies in something far more intense, more calculated, and far more stoic. You see, no contact doesn't assert your presence, it merely removes it. Instead of vanishing into thin air, what you want is something that makes her feel your absence while still keeping you on her mind. That's where the real power lies. Think about it. When you disappear completely, she might wonder where you've gone. But does it really make her desire you more? Does it bring her closer? Or does it simply leave her wondering, unsure of what's going on with you? You want something more than uncertainty. You want to create a situation where she feels your absence, but in a way that leaves her intrigued, craving more of you, not less. This is where the stoic power move comes into play. Stoicism teaches us the importance of mastery, the ability to control our energy, interactions, and emotions. No contact, as we know it, is a passive form of control, but true emotional strength comes from actively managing your presence, not waiting for someone else to make the first move. Let's get real. No contact is weak because it's reactive. It's a sign of desperation, waiting, hoping for her to come back, but not doing anything to influence the situation. What if you could take charge of your emotions, instead of just waiting for her to react? What if you could control the energy between the two of you, in a way that leaves her wanting more, rather than just sitting back and hoping she'll come to you? True stoic power isn't about being passive. It's about taking the lead, moving with purpose, and setting the tone for how things will unfold. Instead of disappearing into the background and hoping for her to feel something, you assert your presence in a calm, collected, and strategic way. Here's what I'm about to reveal. This is the move you've been missing all along. What if you could shift the power dynamic in your favor, stay emotionally in control, and drive her to the edge of obsession without ever having to chase her? Stay tuned, because what I'm about to show you will shift everything in your favor. The game changes when you learn to take control of your own energy and emotions. You can make her crave your attention without waiting for her to make the first move. Trust me, the results will come quickly, and the power will shift from her hands back into yours. So far, we've seen how the no contact rule often fails to deliver the expected results. It sounds simple: cutting communication and letting her feel your absence. But it's based on an assumption. The assumption that disappearing will automatically trigger an emotional response. It's a strategy that's passive. And here's where the problem lies. Not everyone will react the way you expect. Now, picture this. You've gone silent. You've vanished from her life without a word. The hope is that she'll miss you, that she'll feel the void you've left behind and come rushing back to you. But here's what often happens. She might not feel the longing you expected. She might move on, thinking you've lost interest or assuming you were just playing games. And in her mind, your silence isn't this grand emotional absence you imagine. It can feel like indifference, like you're not really worth the effort. You see, this is where things get tricky. Your silence might not stir longing at all. In fact, it might do the opposite. It might push her away. In many cases, the absence of communication doesn't make her feel anything deep. Instead of wanting you more, she simply forgets about you. You're not present enough in her mind for your absence to be a meaningful experience for her. Without clear communication and without your emotional presence, she can move on far quicker than you might think. Moreover, let's look at the nature of no contact itself. It's a strategy that's based on waiting. You do nothing but wait. You hope for something to happen. But the reality is this: waiting doesn't create power. It just leaves you sitting there, hoping for a reaction without doing anything to influence the situation. And here's the kicker: true emotional power doesn't come from waiting. It comes from action. By relying solely on no contact, you're essentially surrendering control over your own actions and emotions. You're putting everything in her hands and hoping that she'll come back to you. You're waiting for her to notice your absence and react. But here's the thing: this strategy doesn't address what's going on inside of you. It doesn't build emotional strength or resilience. It simply stalls the process. Let's take a moment to consider this. When you're waiting, you're not growing. You're not improving your emotional intelligence or strengthening your character. You're stuck in a passive state, hoping that things will magically work out. But waiting and hoping are not enough. True growth comes when you take charge of the situation. When you decide that you're going to influence the dynamics of your relationships instead of simply letting them unfold however they will. You need to be the one in control, not her. The real solution is not to just sit there and wait for her to come back. Instead, take action. Move forward with purpose and confidence. Take control of your emotions and your actions. This is where the Stoic approach comes in. It's about actively controlling your presence and energy. Instead of passively waiting for a reaction, you shape the situation from within. You take the lead and decide how things will unfold, rather than sitting back and hoping for something to happen. The Stoic power move is a calculated strategy that puts you in a position of strength. It's about remaining calm, composed, and in control, no matter how she reacts. This is the opposite of the passive approach of no contact. Instead of fading into the background, you stay present, but in a way that demands respect and creates intrigue. The key here is to master yourself. The Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on self-mastery, to control our own thoughts and emotions, instead of being swayed by external forces. In relationships, this means you no longer rely on her attention or validation to feel good about yourself. You don't need her to complete you. Your worth is grounded in your own principles and actions. When you master yourself, you create a presence that is magnetic, unapologetically strong and resilient. This, my friend, is what will make her desire you. The second aspect of the Stoic power move is detachment with purpose. This doesn't mean cutting her off or withdrawing completely. Instead, you engage with purpose. You stay present, but only on your terms. You're not always available, and you don't chase her approval. Instead, you maintain emotional distance. You control your reactions and behavior. And this creates an emotional challenge for her. She begins to feel the tension of your unpredictable presence. She'll wonder why she can't get a clear read on you. This calculated detachment puts her into a state of uncertainty. And guess what uncertainty leads to? Curiosity. And curiosity? Well, it's a powerful driver of attraction. When she can't figure you out, when she can't predict your next move, she'll start to feel drawn to you in ways she can't fully explain. The more you maintain this emotionally detached yet subtly present approach, the more mystery you create. And let me tell you, mystery is the key to attraction. Finally, the Stoic power move is about creating a sense of mystery and respect. When you stop seeking validation from her and give her the space to figure things out, you elevate your value in her eyes. Your calm, composed demeanor becomes a reflection of your inner strength. She'll start to see the power in your presence. You're not forcing anything. You're simply standing strong, allowing her to see the impact of your presence without needing to chase her or beg for her attention. You're not just sitting there waiting for her to notice you. Instead, you are creating a magnetic presence that naturally attracts her. The more you stop seeking her approval, the more you'll find that she'll come to you, not because you forced her, but because she genuinely respects and admires you. Now, let's dive deeper into what happens when you take a calculated and powerful approach in your relationships. You stop being just another person in her life. Instead, you become someone who commands attention without desperation or the need for constant validation. This shift is monumental. Think about it. When you are actively present in her life, but you are not emotionally dependent on her responses, you change the entire dynamic. You've flipped the script. Women are naturally drawn to what they can't have or control. And when you stop chasing after her or seeking her constant attention, something profound occurs. You create what I like to call a psychological vacuum. This vacuum, this space, starts to draw her in. She begins to wonder why you're no longer available as much as you used to be. Why are you not pouring all your energy into her like before? This shift in behavior leaves her feeling confused, maybe even intrigued, and begins to make her question, what's changed? What am I missing? Especially when she realizes that you're not playing by the same rules anymore. You're not chasing after her. And that's when things begin to change. This creates a subtle emotional push and pull that sparks her curiosity. She's now trying to figure out why you're not putting in the same effort. Why isn't she getting your undivided attention anymore? And in that moment, she will feel your absence, but not in the way she expects. This absence isn't just empty space. It's filled with mystery. It's the absence of someone who is still there but not easily accessible. It's the absence of someone who is growing and changing in ways she doesn't fully understand. This shift is what makes you stand out in her mind, what makes her wonder about you, about your next move, as you continue to maintain this emotionally detached, yet subtly present approach. The emotional disconnect she feels grows stronger. The more you maintain this composed and unpredictable presence, the more she'll feel the gap between you. And that gap? It creates longing. It fuels curiosity. The more emotionally distant you appear, the more she will want to bridge that gap. That's when the power dynamic shifts. You're no longer the one missing her. She's the one who is now missing you. Think about that for a second. You've taken control of the situation. You've shifted the focus away from waiting for her to realize your value, to her now realizing that she can't just forget about you. Your absence makes her desire you more. The power is no longer in her hands. It's now back in yours. And that's a powerful shift, my friend. Now that we understand the power shift and the psychological effects of this strategy, it's time to reflect on the deeper Stoic principles behind it. Stoicism teaches us that we are in control of our actions, emotions, and perceptions, no matter the external circumstances. When it comes to relationships, this principle becomes even more powerful. Instead of reacting emotionally, instead of being impulsive or desperate, you choose to respond with wisdom, detachment, and clarity. The goal is not to manipulate or play games. It's to embody strength and allow that strength to pull people towards you naturally. When you pull back in a way that demands attention, you're embodying the Stoic concept of amor fati, the love of fate. You accept whatever comes your way, whether it's her response or lack of response, without letting it disturb your inner peace. Your actions aren't driven by anxiety or the need to control every outcome. They're driven by an understanding that the only thing you truly have control over is yourself. This mindset frees you from the need for validation or reassurance from anyone else. And when you let go of that, it makes you more magnetic. You become the person who stands strong, who isn't shaken by external events, and who remains grounded in their own principles. The true power of this Stoic strategy lies in your ability to maintain inner calm. Regardless of how she reacts, you've shifted your focus from waiting for her to miss you, to focusing on the one thing that truly matters, your own emotional mastery. When you gain control of your own emotional state, you no longer need someone else's approval to feel worthy. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below on how you plan to shift the power in your relationships. Remember, your strength lies in your ability to control yourself, not the other person. Stay powerful, stay calm, and let the world bend to your will. Until next time, stay mindful, stay stoic.